Would you confront a mom who abandoned her kid in your store? Saw an AITA post which reminded me of this woman. I was a supervisor in a chain of stores in the UK. One night the manager left early, and it was me and two other staff members until close. A woman, EM, came into the store with a baby and a 3-year-old. She wandered up and down the aisles until finally approaching me at the till. I was covering so my colleague could get her break. Couldn't let the other one cover as she wasn't allowed to leave her section. EM scurried up to me with the pram and 3-year-old in tow and asked if we could let her use the bathroom to change her baby. I apologized and told her we couldn't as our stock is kept back there, and it was for employees only. She pleaded to let her use it, saying she was a single mother and really needed to use it. I repeated myself and told her no with an apology and said she could easily go to the McDonald's across the road as they most likely would let her use theirs. She scoffed, saying how the manager always lets her use it, and started wandering about the store again. A few minutes later, I saw her quickly leave the store. I thought, thank God, because I could hear her moaning up and down the aisles. I went back to what I was doing when I started to hear sobbing followed by ear-piercing screaming. I quickly ran to investigate and found the 3-year-old wandering up and down the sections crying for her mummy. What kind of parent would just leave their child like this? I kneeled down, still having an eye on the tills, and tried to calm the kid down. I told her nicely to follow me and took her to the tills. I was furious at EM. Anything could have happened to her innocent little girl. A stranger could have easily left with her, and I wouldn't have noticed. No wonder the kid was so upset. I would be too if I was her. A while after, a good 30 to 40 minutes later, EM showed up with the baby and was all smiles. She saw her daughter and started the whole, come on time to go crap with her. I stopped EM because I was furious. I told EM directly that we are not babysitters, we are a retail business, and I am appalled at the fact she just left her kid here and how anything could have happened to her, also explaining how upset she was. Instead of getting angry like most EMs, she tried the whole poor me act. She began trying and failing to look sad and say how the manager said SHE said that I was wrong and would look after her daughter and how it wasn't her fault. Does she really think I'm going to buy this nonsense? She continued by saying that I don't understand how hard it is to raise 2 children single-handedly and how at least my manager understood, followed by how she was going to tell her about the mistreatment and get me fired. She then had a smug look on her face as people watched on, looking angry at me. I just gave a blunt response back. I'm sorry, but my mother had 4 children under the age of 5 and was still able to watch all of us. She never abandoned us once in a store. I know it's hard raising kids by yourself, but abandoning them with strangers is a terrible idea. And as far as your claim that the manager said it was okay, don't lie to my face. He left about 2 hours ago and would never let you do that. My manager was strict. You are talking to the person in charge right now. EM looked pretty shocked. She obviously assumed I was just a girl on the tills. I then told her if she wanted to put in a complaint, she can. She said she did. So I gave her all the details with a smile and informed her that an investigation would be held. She looked pleased until I mentioned that part of the investigation would be to review the camera footage. EM looked enraged at that point, grabbed her daughter, and left. I told everyone that the show was over and to carry on with what they were doing. She never complained. Edit. It was obvious she had something to eat while she was out. She had crumbs all over her. How could she prioritize her snack over her child? Edit 2. Had a nap and went to work, checked my phone, and God, there are loads of comments. So I'll clarify a few things. When my colleague got back from break, I checked the CCTV to see where EM went. She did go to McDonald's, and I didn't see her leave there. I agree with a lot of comments. I was too nice about it and should have called the police. The good news is the group chat we posted her image and had all the stores in the local area in it. So they were all aware of her and posting updates. The chat is used mainly for logs on shoplifters and criminal activity. Some police are in the group. Edit 3. A lot of comments are telling me about calling the police, and some even saying they didn't understand why I wouldn't have done that. So I'm going to make a point here. If you have never been in a situation, it is easier to say you would do something differently, but when you are in the situation, you do something different from what you said. That is the case here. Before, I used to say, call the police, for God's sake. It's so obvious, when I had no experience in that situation. When this happened, what I said didn't matter. I didn't know what to do. My first instinct was to calm down the child, then investigate where the woman went to. I didn't want to involve the police straight away as the police are hopeless anyway. A few times an assault like someone getting punched happened, and they didn't show up to investigate until 2 weeks later. I was going to if she didn't show up at all. I did watch her a bit when she was in the McDonald's. If she left and didn't come back, then I would have called. If I left the building, I could lose my job.